So now I got my chip. I'm cleaning the sides of it. I'm getting any excess flux off of it. Make sure there's no fuzzies. Okay. Now I've got, because this is the side that my thermocouple goes on, and that Kapton tape isn't as sticky as the silver tape. So I put the silver tape over here so if my thermocouple moves, it's not going to knock any components when it gets too hot, because I've had that happen before and it's a pain. So I'm trying to take precautionary measures there. I don't want that to happen again. So now we take our Kingbo Flux, a little thin layer, put it on your finger, just rub it on the board. And I clean the board the same exact way I clean the chip, so there's no real sense of wasting tape to show you how to do it, because that's how I did it. And once again, it's amazing how flat and perfect these pads turn out when you do it with a low melt. Okay, so now I'm going to take my chip, can only go on one way. Now, this doesn't have a white square, so what it has is a little dot in the four corners. And you basically line up each corner on top of the dot. And the dot's just basically a little solder. You can see a little solder. And that little dot of solder is the corner where the chip goes. So it's pretty simple to line these chips up. You can see I'm tapping on the corners. And it's pretty darn flat. There's really no bow at all, which is what you want. Okay. I'm going to clean off my thermocouple with some MEK. Go ahead and turn on your Presto plate. Same process, so I'm going to pause the film. I think I'm running out of film. But same process, except for we're only going to take it up to 200 degrees. And then we'll try it out. So I'm going to pause it and let it warm up. Okay, so we're at 103 degrees. Sorry if the tape cuts out. We're at 105 degrees. I already got my upper heater on. I turned it on when it hit 70. We're at 107, 108. 110. Like I said, try to keep an eye underneath. See if you can see when the balls turn liquid, and then give it about another 10 degrees once they all do. We're at 150. It's got that heat sink on top, so it takes a little longer to heat up. $160. 170. Looks like the balls are about to turn because they look a little dull. They usually get dull before the... Okay, so I did run out of tape, but I took the heat up to 200 degrees Celsius. I let it cool down. Once it hit 200, I turn off the hot plate, turn off my upper heater, let it cool down to about 170, and I turn the fan on. So I'm going to let it cool down. I'm going to take all the tape off, clean up around the edges, and then I'm going to flush it like I did before with the MEK. So flushing it basically means just taking like rubbing alcohol or MEK and pouring it underneath the chip so it gets all the gunk out of it. If there's any gunk underneath there, it tries to flush it out. And once I do all that, I'll put it back together a little bit and then we'll test it out and see if it works. Alrighty, let's test her out. I got it put back together halfway here. No major screws, just basically, you know, put a nice layer of thermal compound on the chips. Bolted her back down. Got the power supply hooked up. Got an HDMI cable on the back. Got the power cord in the back. You see our red lights on. Cross your fingers. So far so good. Alright. So we're in there. Now it's been reballed with leaded solder. It should last longer. Shouldn't come back since it has a lower melting point on the solder. It won't crack like the lead-free solder does. And the GPU definitely gets hotter than the CPU. That's obviously why we have these problems. So you can see the PS3 is working. We do have one audience member. Say hi to Mac, making his YouTube debut. He is out of it. Anywho, I'm getting the can't start because the hard drive's not in, basically. But this is Matt at fixmygpu.com. I just want to say thanks to the people who have already sent me their systems. If you're having the yellow light of death and you want it done professionally with professional equipment and leaded solder, you can just visit fixmygpu.com and take a look at the purchase GPU repair page. But once again, this is Matt. Thanks a lot for watching.